everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be the palettes that I've used in the month of November and December. I didn't do this video last month. It was a combination of me being sick, I was gone, I forgot when I came back. So we're going to combine November and December. I'm pre-filming this, so I'm in the middle of December, but this video is probably not going to go up until January. So this is just what I've used thus far. A few of these palettes I'm probably going to continue to use just because I've been doing like Christmas-esque looks. You wouldn't know it from the eye makeup I have on today, but that's irrelevant. Anyway, so if you want to see what I've actually been using, then just keep watching. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure your notification bell is turned on. Shirt of the day, I am wearing a band shirt. It says Heart on the back. My grandpa used to do lighting at the arena in Billings. So I have a lot of vintage, like actual vintage shirts, because he got a shirt from every concert that he worked on. So this was from Heart's tour in like '87. So it says Heart on the back. So yeah, I'm just wearing one of my vintage band tees. My grandpa passed away and I got a bunch of shirts from him. So I do occasionally wear those. So it's not a horror movie shirt, but it's, some of the shirts are like the crew shirts. So I don't know if I haven't really looked at, yeah, cause it says lighting system, but it does have like Heart, like in the year on the back. So yeah, that's what I'm wearing. That's really not important. We're here about the palettes. So yeah, let's jump into my list. So that intro was very rambly. I apologize. I do get questions about my t-shirts when I wear like my horror movie ones. And so this is actually a band shirt. It's just, you know, the ones that were given out to the crew that worked at the concert. So that's what we're going with today. I already had this on and I didn't feel like changing it. And I do have quite a few that I was kindly given by my grandma. So I'm going to start wearing them since I have them. So first off, we have my Melt palettes. My husband was kind enough to buy me the entire collection from Melt. He got me the PR kit. It was very expensive. I used both of these in that initial video. I need to use them again. I've been keeping them in the boxes just because they're cool. So we have the Recently Deceased, which is the purple and green. They were really cool and they came with these little like scene sheets. And so here's the purple and green one. I need to do dedicated videos with both of these and do a little more intricate look. I haven't yet, so I think I'm going to leave these out. I had put them in my drawer and kind of forgot about them. And then we have the Waiting Room. I think they probably could have combined and just done one palette. And then this one has the Waiting Room scene. And then this one's more of the red gray color story. There are a couple of shades in both that look similar. So I think they could have potentially thrown those out and just done one palette. But I get that they were trying to do like this big, you know, Beetlejuice thing. So I have both of them. I am glad that I have both. Like I said, I want to do dedicated videos with each one and do a more intricate look, because I think I just did simple looks because I was testing them out. I did one on each eye. So I'm going to set these to the side so that hopefully I remember to do that at some point. The next palette that I have been using, Mike got this for me for my birthday. This is the Urban Decay Stone Vibes. I really like this palette. I think the shimmers in here are really, really pretty. Not everybody shared my sentiment. This to me is a companion palette for sure. I wouldn't say the mattes in here are bad by any means, but there's not a ton of mattes, but the shimmers are pretty. So, and I don't mind using it with another palette. I have, even if I wanted to use it with another Urban Decay palette, I have lots of Urban Decay palettes. So I like it. I think it's pretty. The shimmers are really, really nice. Not everybody felt that way. It is expensive for what it is, but I think the quality is decent. And the mattes that are in here are good. You just don't get a lot of them. So I can understand people's gripe with that. I did use my Sugar Pill palettes finally. I did do a video on this. So I used a couple of shades from the Fun Size palette just to help blend because they're more pastel. And then I did like rainbow eyes where I did like color here and then carried it down here. And then I did rainbow colors here and then carried them down here. And I did wear it to work. I did it in the video and then I replicated it for work. So I was able to use both of these finally, and I had a good experience. I wouldn't mind getting the black one at some point. I definitely don't think I need it, but I wouldn't mind having it. So at some point, I might get that when it goes on sale. So I did use those. This is a palette that I got in BoxyCharm. This is from the Beauty Bakery. This is the Breakfast in Bed. I did use this. And I think I did a look with it for work. Like, it's a pretty basic, like, everyday wearable palette. I thought the formula was good. The shimmers were nice. The look that I did was pretty. It's an easy formula to use. I didn't have a bad experience. I've been wanting to try them for a while. I've never used anything from Beauty Bakery before, so I was glad to get this and try it. I liked it. Evie. My dogs always have to bark when I'm filming. And then I did also do a video with these where I got the Orb of Light palette from Black Moon Cosmetics. This is one of their full moon palettes. They have this one, and then this is the all matte one. And then they have one that's all shimmer. I got this because I wasn't sure how I felt about their formula from the Urban Myth palette. And I did do a video on this palette by itself, but I did film a look where I tested this out, and I did kind of a Christmassy themed look using, I only used these 3 shades, Blood, Wolf, and Black is just called Black. So I used these 3 in conjunction with, I think I used Bigfoot, a little bit of Mothman. I used crop circles, and then I used this red and then this green, and I did a very, you know, Christmas-esque look. But I do have a better sense of their formula. I do like their formula. And I talked about this in that video. I would say, like, the green has to be built up a little bit, and then, like, the purple doesn't show up true to color. It's a little bit lighter on the eye than it looks in the pan. But other than that, like, it's pigmented. And then the mattes that I used in this palette were good. So it did give me a better sense of their formula, and I had a better experience playing with this palette in conjunction with this than I did just using this on its own, if that makes sense. I'm somebody that if I have a palette and I have multiple palettes from the same brand, I like to keep the brands together. Some brands' formulas don't play well with other brands. So, like, I try, like, with this palette, I will use in conjunction with other Urban Decay. You don't have to do that. Some of that's a little OCD, and some of it is because, like I said, some formulas don't always want to blend with other brands. So if I have multiple palettes from the same brand, I am more likely to use them together than to use this with a different brand, if that makes sense. And that's just me being weird. So I did like both of those. I feel like this video is going to be longer than what I thought it was going to be, so I apologize. I did use my Too Faced Holiday Palette. I did do a video on this. This will be up. All the videos that I'm talking about will be up before this one. I'm in pre-film mode finally. I liked this palette. The formula is good. The only gripe that I have is this shade, and this shade are pressed glitters. So if you don't like pressed glitter, I would stay away from this palette. The other palette in this size didn't look like it had any pressed glitters. It may, because I didn't realize that this palette had pressed glitters. When I picked this one, I like pinks and mauves, clearly. So that's why I went with this color story. But these are nice pressed glitters. I have used them. I didn't get glitter lodged in my contact because that's a phobia that I do talk about in this palette. But it's not a bad palette. I did have regret when I bought that because of the pressed glitter, and so I don't know if I'm going to purchase anything from Too Faced's holiday collection next year. I probably will, and I'll probably regret it again, but I was not as happy with their holiday release this year. I felt like they were just kind of going through the motions. So anyways, moving along, the 3 palettes that I took with me when I went to my grandma's house for Thanksgiving were these 3 from Kaleidos. I took Futurism 1, the Sci-Fi Green. I only did my makeup like 3 times while I was there, so I used each palette once. I had a cold. I wasn't feeling good. I was just with my family, like Mike didn't go, just with my parents. So I just didn't feel like wearing makeup. I took the Futurism 2, the Cyber Bronze, mainly because this is probably my least used Kaleidos palette. So I wanted to take this, and I got pretty looks every time. I think I did my makeup 4 times. I think I used this palette twice. And then I took the Futurism 7, this Sashimi City, which this is gorgeous. This has 2 really pretty like duochromes in it. So I didn't get the lavender one. I am thinking about getting that palette. I don't wear purples a ton, so this one will definitely get more use, even though it's neutral. And then I did film a look with this. I did a Christmas/New Year's look with the Jaclyn Hill, the original palette. This is a go-to palette for those kinds of looks. It's easy to do a pretty, you know, basic smoky eye. I used a liquid gold instead of the gold that's in this palette just because I wanted something that was a little more impactful, but this is a good palette. I've almost decluttered it. I'm glad I still have it. It's a neutral palette. There's a few pops of color, but I keep it mainly for tutorials because a lot of people have it. It's still available even though they've changed the formula, but the colors that are in here are easy to replicate in your collection if you have a decent size collection, because it's, you know, pinks and browns and there's a black. So I tend to keep this for that reason, but the look came out really pretty. So I've never had a bad experience with that palette. And then the other 3, I've been doing Christmas-esque looks. So I pulled out my Laura Lee Sleigh Bells. If you've never tried her eyeshadows, I mean, if you don't care for her as a person, this is a really good palette. It only has 2 mattes, so you have Cherry Chocolate and Bright Lights. And then Wish List, what are these called? Festive, Wrapped Up, and Jolly. Like, they're just beautiful shimmers. I've used Cherry Chocolate and Wrapped Up, the pretty like green, in conjunction with my Christmas Morning palette from Give Me Glow. This is the only palette that I own from them. I want to get their Vintage Rose and then the other Rose palette, the pinky purple one that they came out with. I wouldn't mind getting those at some point because their formula is really good, but I've been using the mattes in here in conjunction with some mattes in this palette. And then Milk and Cookies. I want to do a green look with Gifts Galore. It's a really pretty like duochrome shade, and I haven't used it yet this year. Their formula is very flaky, so just be wary, but it's intense. And their eyeshadow, like, that was one swatch and I still have product. Like, their quality is insane, but it is flaky. So you are going to want to put down some sort of glitter adhesive because you will end up with flecks of whatever shade you're using. But yeah, very, very pretty. Wouldn't mind getting their palettes are pricey. So that's the only reason this is the only one I have. Like I said, I wouldn't mind getting their Vintage Rose and their other like rose palette that's new, but have to wait till I have the money to do that. And then the last palette that I've been using is the 35C, the Everyday Chic, just because this is a very winter appropriate color story. So you can see, like, I've been using, you know, this green in conjunction with the Christmas Morning palette, and you do have a sort of a burgundy shade. I've been using the the red out of Sleigh Bells with this palette and doing like Christmas-esque looks. This green in here, I was very, very surprised was not patchy at all. And it's very, very easy to blend. It blends itself out really nicely. I didn't have to go in necessarily with any other shades. What is it called? I hate these sheets. Just perfect. And then I've been using the green in here just because it's a little more of a true green, whereas the one that's in here is a little more on the turquoise spectrum, but very, very nice palette. So I've been using that lately with Sleigh Bells and Christmas morning, doing Christmas themed, Christmas colored looks. So those are all the palettes. I ended up pulling out more than what I thought. Initially, I thought that there was only a couple, but I have used several of these in videos. I've been mainly only doing makeup when I film, which is the case for a lot of people lately because of everything that's been going on. So there's probably not as much as what I would normally use if I was doing my full face like this every day for work. I don't. And I don't even wear this much eyeshadow normally anymore. I just have not been feeling like it. So yeah, that was everything that I've used for November and December. I'm going to continue to probably use these three until the end of the month because I'm still in Christmas mode. And there's, like I showed you, there's some shades in this palette that I haven't used yet this year that I want to. So yeah, that's everything that I have. Thank you guys so much for being here. Let me know if you would be interested to see looks with the Beetlejuice palettes, because I would like to film those soon. I'm going to have to put those in my pile. I have a pile of palettes that I would like to do looks with, so those are going to have to go in there with those. And yeah, that's all I have. So thank you guys so much for being here. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you like these monthly updates on what I'm using. I didn't have any bad experiences with any of the palettes this month, so that's something, because that's not always the case, especially with ones that I get in subscription boxes. Can be very hit and miss. And yeah, that's all I have. I'm done rambling for now. Make sure you're subscribed before you leave, and hopefully I will see you in another video very, very soon. Bye, everybody.